Some of you really don't want to skip this video. Trust me when I say you'll want to watch every single minute. What I'm about to share about Martell Holt's legal battles, his complicated history with Melody Shari, and how it all connects to his future on Love and Marriage Huntsville will absolutely shock you. This story has twists that will change the way you look at Martell, his role on the show, and even his family life. Stay with me until the very end, because every detail matters. This is about family, reputation, accountability, and consequences, and every single part of it ties together. Because of recent events, Martell Holt's private life has once again become public news. This time, however, the updates from court are not just negative, they are devastating. From the very first season of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Martell's life has been under the microscope. His marriage struggles, questionable business moves, and reckless decisions have played out for everyone to see. But now, his legal troubles are front and center. And let me tell you, the most recent judgment could affect his future in ways that go far beyond television drama. This isn't just about paying a fine or completing a probation program. It's about custody of his kids, his reputation, and even his standing on the show. It all started on May 2nd, 2024. That was the day the Huntsville Municipal Court officially found Martell guilty. The charges? Third-degree domestic violence and sending harassing messages to his ex-wife, Melody Shari. This wasn't just an argument between two exes. This was a criminal case. And now, Martell carries a permanent record because of it. The court sentenced him to 12 months of probation, 30 days in jail, suspended if he followed the rules, $500 in fines plus court costs, mandatory participation in domestic violence programs. But the most painful part wasn't the fine or the probation. It was the no contact order. This meant that Martell could not legally speak directly to Melody. Think about that. A court had to tell two parents who share 4 children not to communicate directly because one of them could not be trusted. This didn't just damage Martell legally, it crushed his reputation. Fans of the show had already been critical of him. They saw him cheat on Melody, lash out at castmates like Marceau and Marie Scott, and act aggressively on camera. For many, this conviction confirmed what they had suspected all along. Now here's where things get interesting. Martell didn't want to accept the decision. He decided to appeal, hoping the Madison County Circuit Court would either dismiss the case or reduce his sentence. This was supposed to be his chance to clear his name. But instead, it blew up in his face. On August 18, 2025, Martell once again pleaded guilty in circuit court. Rather than gaining a lighter outcome, he was given almost the exact same punishment as before. He avoided serving jail time as long as he followed probation, but he still had to pay court costs and faced a hefty penalty if he missed deadlines. The most important part? By pleading guilty a second time, Martell locked himself into having a permanent record for domestic violence. No more appeals, no more second chances. The label will follow him forever. And for someone already struggling to maintain credibility with fans, this was catastrophic. Now let's talk about the part that really matters: his kids. Martell and Melody are scheduled to return to court for a custody trial on October 15, 2025. The timing could not be worse for Martell. In Alabama, family courts treat domestic violence extremely seriously. Even harassment or threatening behavior counts as domestic violence. Judges are trained to protect children above everything else. So when one parent has a recent conviction connected to harassment or abuse, even if it wasn't physical, it weighs heavily in custody decisions. That means Martell enters the trial already at a huge disadvantage. Melody's lawyers will absolutely use this conviction as proof that Martell is not a safe or reliable parent. They'll argue for limited or supervised visitation, if visitation is granted at all. This isn't Martell's first loss in court against Melody. In June 2024, a judge ordered him to pay $7,000 in Melody's legal fees. The ruling even suggested that if he didn't pay, his visitation rights could be at risk. In October 2024, Melody won again when the court dismissed most of Martell's counterclaims. The message from the judges has been consistent. Martell's behavior is testing the court's patience. Now, with his guilty plea in 2025, that pattern of loss continues, and the consequences could be bigger than ever. If Martell can't convince the judge in October that he's a responsible and safe parent, he risks losing his visitation rights altogether. That would mean he either doesn't see his kids at all or only under strict supervision. For Melody, this strengthens her case. She has consistently appeared to be the more stable and responsible parent. Fans have seen it on the show too. Melody focuses on her businesses, her music career, and raising her children. Martell, meanwhile, is often at the center of drama, fights, and reckless choices. Of course, this drama doesn't just affect Martell and Melody. The rest of the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast has been pulled into it over the years. Marsaw Scott has clashed with Martell multiple times, with arguments that escalated into explosive fights on screen. Maurice and Kimmy Scott have often tried to mediate, but even they've questioned Martell's decisions. Wanda, Letitia Scott's outspoken mother, has never held back her criticism of him. Destiny Payton, once close to both Melody and Martell, has also been dragged into their endless back and forth. All of this adds more fuel to Martell's struggles. His inability to separate his private chaos from the show has made things even harder for him. Let's not forget the financial side. Between fines, lawyer fees, child support, and business expenses, Martell is under crushing financial pressure. Reality TV stars don't earn as much as many fans think. Their income depends on filming, appearances, and side projects. For Martell, who is already juggling real estate deals and public image issues, the stress is overwhelming. Viewers have noticed his short temper and defensive behavior, and it's clear that money problems only make things worse. At one time, Martell and Melody were seen as a power couple. 4 beautiful children, successful businesses, and what looked like a strong marriage. They were role models for Huntsville and fans across the country. But then came the betrayal. Martell's long-term affair with Ariane Curry wasn't just a scandal, it was a complete unraveling. This wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a years-long relationship that humiliated Melody and destroyed the trust their marriage was built on. Melody eventually filed for divorce, but the drama didn't stop. If anything, it intensified. Instead of co-parenting peacefully, they ended up in constant battles. Martell wanted control, while Melody fought for peace. And time after time, the courts had to step in. Martell often tries to present himself as a devoted father. On social media, he posts Bible verses, shares pictures of himself with his children, and writes captions about fatherhood. But then, in the next breath, he throws shade at Melody through cryptic messages and petty digs. It's a performance designed to make him look like both the victim and the hero. The problem is, people are no longer buying it. Fans see the manipulation. They see the pride, the stubbornness, and the need for control. And here's where it becomes heartbreaking. The children are no longer too young to notice what's happening. They feel the tension. They see when one house is calm and the other is chaotic. Kids learn from what they see. Right now, Martell is teaching them what it looks like when a parent puts pride and control above peace and stability. Those lessons will stick with them for life. Melody, in contrast, shows consistency. She avoids petty arguments online, follows court orders, and pours her energy into creating a stable home. Fans notice the difference, and so do the kids. At this point, the question isn't just whether Martell will win or lose custody. The real question is, why is he fighting? Is he genuinely fighting to be a present father? Or is he fighting because he can't handle losing control? For many fans, the answer seems clear. Martell talks about family, faith, and love, but his actions often reveal ego, manipulation, and a thirst for power. And that's the tragedy, because when peace is less important than power, everyone loses, especially the children. So here we are. Martell Holt, once a respected husband and father on Love and Marriage Huntsville, now faces a future defined by courtrooms, convictions, and custody battles. His choices have cost him his marriage, his reputation, and maybe even his role as a father. Meanwhile, Melody Shari continues to rise, stronger, more stable, and more focused than ever. Fans see it, judges see it, and soon, the final custody decision will seal it. But I want to hear from you. Do you believe Martell is truly fighting for his kids? Or is this battle all about his pride and need for control? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is far from over. And that wraps it up, family. Martell's choices keep shaking up his life, and the fallout is far from over. Stay tuned because more twists are coming. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the latest updates. See you in the next one!